All right, Miss Julia.
So excited.
We got you in Austin for a little bit, so had to rip a podcast. How
I
you
was
doing?
going to say, this is like such an honor to be here with you because I'm so proud of you. I think the world
Thank
of
you.
you. So this is so cool.
I appreciate it. Well, Mike, like a couple weeks ago, was like, Julia would be a great guest. She's going to be here, so I'm glad we got to make it work.
Yeah, I'm definitely, like Mike always says, he's like, girl, you do brands for people for a living and you don't even have your own brand. I'm like, I would get canceled in 2 seconds.
Well, that's what you're here for then.
Yeah. I'm going to get canceled right away.
So you live in Florida and
Yep.
hopefully more of Austin in the future.
I know all of my clients that are here in Austin keep saying to everyone that I meet, like, oh, she's moving to Austin like next week. Oh, she's moving to Austin next month. Oh, she's moving to Austin. And I think it's weird because I'm getting a little scared because both of my clients were doing it super heavy and they don't talk to each other. So I'm like, why is that the common goal between you guys? I'm like, is it selfish or is it to save me? I don't know.
Yeah. Can you give everybody a brief introduction of what you've been up to? Because you're an entrepreneur, so I want to give the full story of what you do.
Yeah. So my background was in litigation finance, worked in the legal industry for a couple of years, left did a little bit of consulting, started a legal consulting business with my ex-business partner, and I loved it. I really was able to figure out what I was super good at, and that was putting other people in their superpower. I'm able to disarm people and make them super vulnerable really quick, and also figure out as a consultant for their own business what is their future going to look like and bring them there. And it's really funny working with my clients for 2 years now. What I said they were going to be 2 years ago, they were like, oh, I can't even imagine getting there. And we got them there. So about 2 years ago, I started my own consulting business. But when I say consulting, and I keep saying consulting and it confuses people, I brand and market CEOs, entrepreneurs, businesses for a living. But I really come in as the consultant to not just your brand and your overall brand essence and, marketing strategies, but as almost like a life coach, as a business consultant, I'm making sure that you're making money, honey.
I love it.
Yeah.
What inspired you to go down this path?
I really like people and I like to be creative. I think in life you have to find the 3 things that you're the best at. Like, I'm a talker. I love people, I like to create things. I'm super competitive that way. So that's what brought me down this path. And it's been extremely rewarding to watch what, my team and I have been able, and my clients obviously have been able to accomplish.
That's so cool. So you went to college.
Yeah.
What was your degree in?
Oh my God, you guys are going to die. And this is why when I talk to anyone young, I'm like, it doesn't matter what you go to school for. So I went to school for hospitality with a concentration in healthcare. What?
Yeah.
So, and then I was going to go to law school. So that's how I got started in legal. So I didn't want a business degree. But I liked people, that hospitality aspect. Like, I like to cook. I like to take care of people. I like to talk to people. I like to, rip them open and figure out what's going on. So that was the hospitality side. And then I had the healthcare side because I was like, I wanted to pump the love back into healthcare. I always wanted to be an advocate for people who didn't have a voice. So it went from like a healthcare path then to a legal path, because during my time learning, just healthcare administration work, I had to take a lot of, healthcare law classes. So I was like reviewing, medical malpractice, complaints, demand. And I'm like, how is this happening? And then that's when I was like, oh, no. Like, I have to be the voice because I got a mouthpiece on me, clearly. I have to be the voice for people who don't have a voice. So then it morphed into that. And then I moved to Florida and I started working with attorneys. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But, I digress. When you go to college, you still don't even know what your superpowers are yet. I really think that you lean more into it as time goes on. And as experiences, good and bad, happen to you, you really kind of like sink into your own. But I was saying, like, college isn't, to someone the other day, like, college isn't a waste of time. And I was actually a better student in college than I was in high school. Like, I could care less about math. I could care less about earth science. But when I was in college and I was taking, different, law classes and different writing classes, I was so dialed in, and it's what I do now.
Yeah. So that degree does not relate to running a business.
Absolutely
right?
not.
So I want to get your take, because there's such a split crowd these days of like, yep, go to college, still do the traditional route. And then other people are like, no, college is a scam. Don't do it. Where do you lie? Are you somewhere in the middle? But like, where do you see college as the value these days?
I'm totally in the middle. I think that if it's important to you, I think you go. It wasn't important to me, honestly. And I remember like fighting with my mom and being like, I don't want to go to college. And she was like, well, you're going to go. Mm-hmm. And if you decide that it was a waste of time, then like, I don't even remember there was something that my parents told me, but I don't think it's for everyone. And I think that a lot of times, you know, I dated people and I've been friends with people that just like instantly got into like a trade. And I think that that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've, you know, talked to people that didn't go to college and they inherited a business and they ran it better. I think that my success has been more on my street smarts and my people skills than any degree could have given me. But then I look at other people who are, you know, an attorney or a doctor or something a little bit more refined that you really need to know certain things, but I'm not that. Like, I'm straight up, like, I don't want a rule. I don't want a barrier. I don't like that. It makes me claustrophobic.
Yeah, I agree. And you are stepping into this now, obviously, like running your own business. At 28, what was like the biggest limiting factor for you to finally take that commitment to yourself of saying, I'm going to go all in on me and be my own boss? Was there anything ever like?
No, I love to bet on myself. One of my favorite things to do is bet on myself. Mm-hmm. It was a super easy transition because I was a partner in a business and, you know, that was great. I think that starting off, that taught me so much, you know, on how to run a business and what that looks like managing a team. I was managing a team for the first time. I was working with accountants for the first time. I was understanding contracts, you know, for the first time. And we messed up a lot. My ex-business partner and I, like, anything wrong that could have happened. I mean, printing $10,000 worth of swag for a client with something spelt wrong happened. You know, hiring a videographer and there was no audio happened. Mm-hmm. You know, things that scared me to the core that made me a better business owner now. But you're not a true business owner until you're the one signing those payroll checks. Like, that I wasn't expecting. You know, I was like, oh, I'm a partner. I'm an owner of a business, you know, and then you're the one signing those payroll checks and people have kids and people have pets and mortgages and you're like, shit, like this is real. Yeah. But it was super easy for me to do what I did. I mean, I got my first client for, you know, he was a high ticket, you know, client before I even had my business. I was sitting at a bar having, you know, dinner with one of my girlfriends and he came over and I just pitched him. I didn't have my LLC set up. I came up with like my business name basically on the spot. It was not, like I was just like, oh yeah, and he's like, okay, like I want a contract tomorrow, and I sent it and he signed it.
Wow,
crazy.
Yeah. Did you have any like imposter syndrome in that moment, like the next day, thinking I need to put a contract together?
Oh my God, no. I was like, it's game time. I was like, it is game time. Oh my God, and it made me realize that those 2 weeks of me leaving my business partner were really hard because it was like my baby, you know, those clients that we had and the whole systems and the team that we had. I mean, it was like a divorce, and it was really weighing on me. So I went from like a super dark place to like shot right up, literally overnight. And I think that it goes back to what I always say, like everything is temporary. Like I had the worst week of my life, you know, being like, oh my God, how am I going to make money? Oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe I just left. What am I going to do? And I think that I perform best when my back's against the wall. Mm-hmm.
You're saying that you love to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
It's go time. Back is against the wall. Not many people are saying that. And they are afraid of those moments. And they're just like, I'm going to put myself in a box because it's comfortable. Yeah. Why do you think most people in society lack that nature to go out and make things happen on their own?
Because they're not their own best friend.
Explain.
So if I said to you right now, I look horrible and I'm so fat and I gained all this weight and I'm so stupid, what would you say to me?
Like you're lying.
Yeah. Like, what's wrong with you, right? So I think that sometimes we're our own worst enemy. Like we talk to ourselves, we're like, you can't do that, or you can't this, or you can't that. Like, absolutely not. Like when I hear those thoughts, because everybody has those thoughts, run through my head, I'm instantly like, I would never say that to my best friend. Yeah. Cut it out. And I think that makes the decisions that I make really healthy and almost really strategic and good, because I'm able to like console and coach myself within myself. And I don't think that people have those skills to do that. Because if I talked to 10 people before I started my business, I probably wouldn't have started my business. Yeah. You know, I remember talking to my dad, who's like my biggest, you know, advocate. And he was like, well, you know how much money camera equipment is, and how are you going to do it? And, you know, why don't you just go and try? And I was like, I remember I hung up the phone with him. I was like, I'm not going to talk to anyone else. And I just journaled for like 2 days and came up with a business plan and just did it.
Yeah, that's so good, because I think everybody has an opinion, obviously. And if you're not fully bought in on this is what my dream is and I'm committed to this, all those outside influences are going to deter you from it.
100%, because they don't get it. And that's the whole point. It's like, even if someone adores you and they think they are giving you the best advice, you always know what's best for you. And that's when like being your own best friend comes into play. Because even if I called the people that know me best, they're not going to give me the advice that I already know in me to do what I'm up for. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm so tired right now that if I were to, you know, be going through that journey of starting a business now, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm exhausted, you know, and I'm not as delusional as I was, you know?
Yeah. And you don't just start something, like you're running a team, you have to service your clients.
Oh yeah.
What is like the major roadblock on that aspect of things as far as leadership and follow through?
I need like 20 of me. My clients want me. My clients need me, you know? I've tried to hire people that could duplicate me in a lot of ways, and it just doesn't work out because I think I'm rare, and I think I'm a great partner for my clients, because I really come in as a partner. Like, I'm bought in. Like there's nothing I won't do. They want me to take their garbage out, I'm taking it out, you know? I'm so dedicated to them that I think that people don't have that same hustle, and people don't have that same heart of really looking at a situation and thinking about it not as what it is, but what it could be. So I wish I had like 20 of my brains to think about to do that. That has been my biggest roadblock. But managing people, having a social life, you know, dating, living, family, you know, work, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's another full-time job.
Oh my God.
On top of it.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Your clients, they're CEOs, they're running different cool things.
Yeah.
What common traits do you see between them that are making them successful?
They all have a lot of integrity. I have like a no asshole policy, so I won't work with someone who doesn't have a good cause. But what I will say, the common trait between all of them is a whole lot of integrity, and they love, love, love what they do. They love what they do, and they service people, they help people. And I didn't, you know, plan for it to be that way when I started. And they're all different. Like, they're in real estate, they're builders, they're attorneys, they're doctors, they're, you know, CEOs of consumer product companies or CEOs of hospital, whatever it might be. They love to serve people.
Yeah. So when you are presenting a plan to someone of saying, here's where you're at now, here's where we want to go.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more like marketing, branding, things that most people, I feel like the common American doesn't think that always moves the needle. They're just like, no, I need to work harder. I need more input. But you're just saying, hey, here's a plan for, let's raise more awareness. We're going to refine some things and get you to where you want to be. How do you build that trust with that CEO saying, I'm the missing piece to make sure you are more successful?
I think because they could feel. I think that everyone that I work with has a killer instinct. And they know that I would never do something. I would never say something that I wouldn't be able to back up.
Yeah.
And I think that when people meet me, they feel that on me. Like, I will work tirelessly to make sure that I deliver, and your word is your everything. And I would never want to go back on my word. And the idea of disappointing someone who's paying me, oh my God, like, that is worse than anything in life. Like, that would break my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing on like a personal development level? Are you someone that like reads books, listens to podcasts? Do you have mentors? How are you learning yourself?
Yeah. So I think that, you know, kind of approaching my 30s, I had different strategies throughout my whole 20s. And I call it like you're trying 20s, because you're going through so much, and every year is so different. Every 6 months for me was so different. Right now, I'm being honest, I'm not in the best place, right? Like I've put myself on the back burner because I got so busy with work. I got so busy with life. I got so busy with all of these external things that I became last on the totem pole. And it's funny because now the things that I'm jumping back into that used to help me don't help me anymore because I changed. And I'm like, damn, that doesn't refill my cup. Like what? So I'm going through what that looks like right now. But honestly, moving my body and quieting my mind and like being in that 5 a.m. club has helped me with my personal development, because by the time, it's 8 a.m., all my clients are early risers. I have at least 20 emails. And that's like, I'm being conservative with that. Like I really have 20 notifications minimum by 8 a.m. So being up earlier and just having my quiet time. And I used to hear people say that and I'm like, fuck you. That is the worst. I'm not a morning person. You're a piece of shit who's on a treadmill at 4:50 until like now I'm that person. And I'm like, wow, like this is nice. Like to wake up and just like be myself and not wake up and be someone's boss and be someone's, CMO and be someone's like, I could just wake up and be me and not be all the other titles that I have.
Yeah. It's important. And you recognize the difference too, because you're saying now in this season, you feel like you're not making yourself a priority.
Yeah.
And you feel that like overwhelm or anxiety because like you're just work. And on the flip side, you've had different times in your life where you're like, I'm waking up at a certain time, I'm taking care of myself, and it's different. Like, yes, priorities change always. But it's good to have that taste of like, this is my most productive self. And then when you are a little bit out of whack, you can be like, okay, that's what it is. I need to move a couple levers here.
Yeah. It's good too. And it's good to also give yourself the grace. Like I give myself so much grace. Like if I have a bad day or something bad happens to me, I don't like plow through it. I like feel it and I feel as sorry as I can for myself. And then I like go forward.
Yeah. What advice do you have for people that are like early mid-20s right now? Because we have a lot of those that listen to this podcast that are wanting to grow. Like they want to step into business ownership. They want to be someone like Julia. Where can they start to, get those best practices?
I think just have a really good understanding of who you are and the top 2 or 3 gifts that God gave you or whatever you believe in, and just lean into that. Literally, we have AI now. Like if you're not talking to ChatGPT every day, like asking it, like these are my top traits. What are some good industries for me to be in? Well, I want to own a business, and like having a conversation with artificial intelligence for them to even shape you and help you. Like, what are you doing? That doesn't make sense to me. You have to really know yourself and know what you want. And I get really concerned when I talk to people and they just have no idea. I'm like, how do you not have any idea? Well, what are you good at? Well, I don't know what I'm good at. How do you not know what you're good at? You don't have a good relationship with yourself if you can't pat yourself on the back. You know what I mean?
And like, you're not even putting reps out there. Like you can't just wake up one day and be like, yep, this is it. Like you have to experience things. That's what I learned when I moved down here, because I had no idea what I was going to end up doing. And I just started shaking hands and doing different things. I'm like, okay, now it becomes more clear because you just put yourself out there.
Well, yeah, you have to. So exactly. Like my work has shaped me completely. I am friends with all different walks of life. And I was from a very young age. Like I was a bartender working in the service industry, like almost how you are here in the gym, like meeting all these different people. I got to meet all of these people, in the Hamptons where I grew up, that had everything, that had nothing, that had mid, that had this, that had that. And I watched, you have to be observant to people and what they do to even figure yourself out. If you live in your little box and you're just like humdrumming it, I'm like, maybe that's why people don't know who they are. People have to challenge you. You have to meet people that are completely different from you to figure out even who you are.
That's good. What I asked you earlier, traits for successful people. Do you see any traits for people that aren't successful? And you can be like, hey, you're just not in the right space to grow right now. Are there anything like laziness, anything that comes to mind that sets them apart from people that are actually succeeding?
I don't really know a lot of people that are.
Good for you.
I don't really know a lot of people that aren't successful. Hold on, let me think. I will say, because I've had to fire people. Procrastination, killer of any kind of success. Not being self-starting, killer of any kind of success. If you're not self-starting and you don't take it upon yourself to come up with a solution, that is what I would say actually kills everything. Like if you focus on the problem and don't focus on the solution, get the fuck away from me. Like I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want you checking me out at the supermarket. Like if you're a problem person and not a solution person, you're not going anywhere in any aspect of life, you know, like business, relationship, anything.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been trained to think that way, especially recently, like society, just all these problems coming up, especially the last like several years. And everybody's like, oh, this is terrible right now. The economy's doing this and there's this conflict going on. And it's always just problem. And what that trains people to think is I can never set myself apart. Like the economy's never going to be good enough for me to succeed. Groceries are going to be too high for me to actually save money. Like all these things just train you to say, I'm not going to be successful. I can't find a solution to this. Like I am a victim to all of this. So I think it plays a role in like our messaging, and hopefully it starts to change in the next couple of years. But what we were trained as human race here in America of like, yes, there's terrible things going on and you're just going to stay in the same place because of that.
Yeah. I hate that victim shit. Yeah. Like when I moved to Florida, I like took it upon myself. I was like, I'm moving. And I got a job right away and I was making like no money. Like my rent was half of my paycheck when I moved. And I had like one pot and one pan for the longest time. And like, I'm me, like, you know, like my closet had, you know, like thousands of dollars of shoes in it. But I was too prideful to like be a victim because my parents were like, what can I do? How can we help? I want to give you money. I remember my parents wrote me out a huge check and I was like, I don't want it because I had so much pride because I don't want to be the victim. I made this decision to do this. Like, let me do it all on my own kind of deal. And I had people help me, obviously, but not to the extent of being like, woe is me. I never looked for a handout ever in my life. Worked for everything I've had.
Yeah, I love that. What was your mentality like in that apartment? Because you have big aspirations and you want to be making more and having a higher quality of life. Day to day, what were you doing and saying to yourself to make sure you were progressing towards that vision?
During that time, a lot of journaling, and I still have that journal. A good exercise that I tell everyone to do is write 30 things that they would want, have, or to become if they had unlimited time or money. Like that to me changed my whole mentality to write down 30 things that I would want, have, become if I had unlimited time or money, because you don't even know. When you hit like 10 and you're like, wait, I'm done. Yeah. You don't even know how simple what you want is until you write it down. If I had unlimited time and money, what would I do? Where would I be? Who would I be with? Would I be learning a different language? Would I be traveling? Would I be in a mansion? Like, you don't even know. Like, personally, I've lived in a huge house. I hate that. Like, I want like a cool ass townhouse or like a penthouse. If I, you know, like I don't want a huge house. I don't want that. I want like 4 bedrooms max. Like I'm not like that. And you learn that about yourself, writing it down, and then what matters. Like I want to buy my parents a house, let's just say, you know, or I want to do this. And you're like, wow, like you realize how simple, at least I realized how simple I was writing that list down. And I do it, you know, once or twice a year to see if it changes. I review that list, and I wrote it back in 2020.
Okay. What are a few things from that list?
Well, a lot are crossed out.
Yeah. Good.
One was to start a business. One was to do public speaking. I wrote it when I was 23 and now I'm 28. And a lot of it has been crossed off the list. But other things that I'm like, wow, that's so unattainable. Like I remember writing like, I want to fly in a private jet. Oh my God, I've done that like 1,000 times. You know, like I remember like, and it was funny. I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, done that, you know. Be on the back of a yacht, done that, you know, like, you know, party with celebrities, I think were one of the things. Cause I had to write 30 things. I like didn't know what more to write. And it's like, did that times 1,000,000. It's like, it's so crazy how like and it's so stupid. That's so stupid. That was like 22, 23-year-old me writing this shit down. And then there's other things that were more serious that I've been able to do. So
I think there's a lot of power in writing things down because it like, you have to be intentional. You can't just think about it. It's just like, let me take some time to actually really think, write this down, and then just keep it too. It's so cool you still have that list because you're like, yeah, did that. Or like, I'm doing this on a daily basis. That's so cool.
Yeah.
For you as 28 years old.
I'm getting old, guys. Getting old.
Not at all. I want to ask you, like, for the younger crowd that has the goals of being somewhere in your shoes, but they think it's going to be 30, 40. Like, I think, and I'm a victim of this as well. I've always said to myself, like when I was younger, like, oh, you're so young, like you got time, because you look at people and you're like, oh, they didn't start their first business till 35, 40, and it slows people down. So how can people gain more confidence at a younger age to be like, no, this goal that I have is maybe a year or two apart or away from now, not 10 years from now?
Hang out and talk to everyone that already has it. Like all my friends own businesses. All my friends do own businesses. And I remember just having they had such confidence in me that I was going to be able to do it. And they provided, guidance and support through that. It's like, meet the people that you want to be like and just hang out with them all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, meet the people that mastered the tool, right? Like, of what you want to do or be, and just be with those people. I mean, when I was starting my business, I remember I called Mike, and Mike was like, perfect. Well, you need to get this credit card, and you need to get this, and talk to my accountant. She'll set you up on QuickBooks and do this and this. And I remember being like so overwhelmed, but everyone was so patient and kind. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't have that relationship and he didn't have the experience of doing it, I wouldn't have had that. I wouldn't have had that, even like, how do I do this? How do I register an LLC? What are my steps? What? 100%. Like, mm-hmm. I would say that get around people that already have it.
Okay, that's good. Switching topics a little bit.
Cool.
We have a lot of young men that listen to this.
Oh God. Okay, cool. Oh my God. First of all, nothing is off bars. You could ask me anything.
Okay, good. First, what is something missing from the male generation in our age range?
Chivalry is gone. I can't even date anyone in their 20s or even like 35. Like, I date geriatric men. No, I'm kidding. Like, my ex is, like 20 years older than me, you know? I mean, and that somehow worked. And I was, it's a really hard, and it's like, he looks like he's super young too, mm-hmm. which like makes it worse. But, he just gets me. Like, he owns businesses. He's a baller. Like, he's normal. He believes in God. Like, he's brilliant. He's like my person in a lot of ways, where if I date someone younger, they're like, oh, like, I got a sugar baba. Like, you own a business, they're impressed. Yeah. They don't open doors. I never dated. Who's the youngest guy I dated recently? It's probably like 30, and that was like such a waste of time. I felt like I was like in high school. I felt like I was in like high school. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, so bad. Just like, they don't have, at least where I live, they just don't have like the swag of an older guy.
Older men have swag?
Yeah, I think so. But like, again, it's fucked up. Like, I don't want to date someone like old. Yeah. Like, I want to date someone that's my age. I want to grow up with someone. I want a partner. So yeah, I will say that sucks. I think that the younger guys, they just don't have it. And I think what the younger guys versus the older guys, what the difference is dating, every age range, is the younger guys think that the grass is greener. Mm. The older guys don't. The younger guys aren't as affectionate. With just like even little things like holding a hand or having a hand on, her back when like crossing a street. Tiny little weird things mm-hmm. the younger generation of guys just don't do to make women feel safe. Mm.
Okay. What about like ambition behind business? Because I think like there's a little bit of, especially in Austin, I think we live in a bubble here of like people are actually ambitious, but anywhere outside, I think the bar is so low for people, like especially around my age. So let's hear about people mid-20s as far as ambition.
Yeah, in South Florida, it's mixed. In New York, it's mixed. In LA, it's mixed. And between, that and obviously Austin. I think that honestly, the guys that are my age that I know, like, they're just happy just getting by. Mm. That, and then they like meet me and they're like, fuck, like, she's expensive. No. But no, I think that ambition's important for men. But I think that what I wish more men had was just what they want their life to look like. Mm. and just lean into that. Because some guys that don't want to get married, then like, why are you trying to date seriously? Like if you want a family and kids, like why aren't you thinking of that? I was with a guy 25, just got married, and he's like, as soon as I got married, I started panicking. And I was like, why? Like, want to still club, you know, like why are you panicking? And he's like, no, if something happens to me, like my wife, like it totally changes mentality. Like I have a wife now, like I have to have life insurance. I have to do this. I have to think about the future. I wish that more guys thought like that, you know, like taking the responsibility of what it's like to be a man and take care of women. And it's not like I'm super hyper independent. Like it's embarrassing how independent I am, because like I don't even know how to have a guy take care of me. Like open a door or do something. Like when a guy does something nice, I'm like, what? Like why? Like I'm like freaked out. Like I don't even know how to accept it, because I feel like guys just don't even do it anymore.
That's good. What about society as a whole? So like men, women in particular, are we set up for like a resurgence of success in our society? Because I think there's been at some time where like people aren't just like getting after it. And like, I think there's just a wave of laziness over us right now. Like when you look at people that are younger, are you seeing promise for future generations, or is it just like this is doomed?
Fucking doomed. There is no sense of urgency.
Yeah.
There's no people skills. There is no comprehension skill. Like I was at a restaurant the other day, and it was all these young people, and no one came up to greet us. When we did get greeted, no one said their name. It was like the strangest. And then it's like our plates are sitting in front of us. There's all these people walking around, but no one's doing anything. They're all young, working in, you know, the service industry. I'm like, I would have gotten fired. Like no one has the drive. People don't look you in the eye. People don't shake your hand. I think the younger generation, we're fucked. It's like everyone does shit for the gram instead of doing shit for themselves or what's cool. And I don't understand. I don't even know how to talk about it, because I don't even understand it. It's strange. These kids just scroll on TikTok all day and see all this cool shit, but they're like parents, but then they'll like ask their parents for like a check. I like don't understand it. Like you're an adult.
Yeah.
Why aren't you making the money? Why are you asking your parents? And you just sit home and scroll on TikTok all day and work your fucking bogus ass job and do the bare minimum. And I don't understand any of that.
Where'd you learn hard work from?
My mom, probably. My mom calls me at 6 o'clock and I'd be like, hello, I'm still working. Can I call you back? And she's like, yeah, I'm calling you to make sure you're still working. I'm like, it's 6:30. Like, you know, my mom's rough. My mom's a worker. That bitch does not sit down. She's like, you never depend on a man. She was a principal of a school. Yeah. So, but like, she's just like a hustler. Like she doesn't sit. That woman does not sit. And when she sits, like we're nervous. We're like, what's about to happen now? But no, she was like, never depend on a man. Like work your ass off. Like when you go to someone's house, knock with your elbows. You should have so much stuff. And it's like little things like that. I feel like I'm so grateful to both my parents, because they taught my sisters and I that. And I just don't see people with the same even like courtessy, you know?
Yep. Going from men to women. Yeah. So most women are...
These poor girls.
They're not having the ambition to start a business and be independent like yourself. And I think, you know, there's pros and cons to the other side, but I think it's so powerful, someone like yourself that's like, I am a boss. I'm going to go make things happen. I don't care who's around me. Like, I'm doing this for me. Why aren't more people like that in the female realm?
I think they're afraid that they're gonna lose being a girl, where I'm such a girl, right? Like I'm so domesticated, like 9 times out of 10 I'm home, moisturized, making dinner. I love to cook, like all fresh flowers through the house. Everything's nice. And it's funny because my ex, it's complicated because we're back on right now, but my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, is like he was a CEO of a huge company when we started dating, and he owns 20 of his own companies. He would come home at 5 o'clock with me owning a business, and I was just a girl. Like there's flowers and candles and fresh dinner hitting the table, and I have a perfect blowout and I look hot. And he was like, how was your day? I was like, oh, it was so good. I did laundry. Meanwhile, I'm like wheeling and like he had no idea. Like even this morning before I came, I was talking to him and he was like, wait, you do that? Like he has no idea what I do. Like I keep it behind the curtain. And I think that girls, and I've struggled with this, again, dating younger men, they want to know everything because they almost are like competing with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they want to know everything, or they want to take a back seat to what you're doing. I think some girls have that fear. And then again, I think that some girls don't work so hard because they're just looking for like a cop out, like a guy's going to take care of me, a relationship's going to take care of me, I'm going to become an influencer and brands are going to take care of me. It's like, for how long?
Yeah.
For how long, you know?
I think guys are also afraid of that power too. Like when you say they want to know everything, because if a guy just naturally wants to feel like they're dominant, they're doing more, they're making more money, they're working more hours, and if they feel like a woman is getting close to that, like they shut down, they get weird.
Oh yeah, no, and that's where like I think that I've mastered it in relationships, where like he has no, it's like Dolly Parton. Do you ever know like Dolly Parton's husband has like never been in the limelight, has gone to none of her shows, like I don't think he could care less, but like he's like in the background, like no one even knows what he looked like. They've been married for like 60 years, literally 60 years. And she's obviously like an international rock star. And I always thought that that concept was so alluring, how she's like one of the most iconic, you know, figures and has all of these things. And her husband's like triple backseat, like he doesn't know. So she's a boss, but she's like still such a girl. And that's what I do in my life. Anyone that I've ever dated, when I've been casually dating a guy, they probably hate me and think I'm like a man and like a monster, because like if I don't like a guy, I actually turn the boss shit up to like torture them and see how much they could take. But you know, right now, yeah, he has no idea what I do.
Yeah.
I've known him for 4 years, you know. He has no idea what I do.
Interesting.
He comes home and I just look cute and dinner's on the table.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Outside of business ownership, or I guess just being a boss for women, what else do women lack in society today?
I think women lack honesty to others, honesty to themselves. I think that a lot of women betray themselves. Like I have a little bit of Botox, but like I didn't get the boobs when I moved to South Florida. I didn't get the nose job, the lip injections. Like I look at all these young girls and they have so much filler and shit and all this work done to their body. And it's as simple as that, like that to me. And like, I'm so for women. Like if you are insecure about something, I want you to get something done. And who knows, maybe I get everything done in a month. Who knows? You know, I'm not judging. But I just think that everyone's just trying to fit in a box, you know, of like, this is how I should look. This is how I should post. This is how I should dress, instead of like really leaning in and you know, becoming friends with themselves and showing up honest to themselves, showing up honest to girlfriends, showing up honest in relationships. Again, it's like back to what I said, it's like everything's for the gram. It's like I see girls that go out with girls they don't like just so that they could get more likes on Instagram, you know, or, you know, they date a guy because he has clout or has money. I'm like, you know, or they get work done that they don't even need to get done because it's like everyone else looks like that, you know?
Yeah. One of the books I'm reading right now was explaining the comparison between like masculine and feminine, how like these are obviously cornerstones of like people, and how it's biblical as well, but feminism and like that whole movement.
Oh, this is gonna be juicy if I start answering these. Let's go.
But when that came about, it was dangerous because it messed up the whole female realm of the things, and then also made men more feminine as well.
Oh my God, men are so feminine. I'm so bothered by this. And this is where I think, you know, it's going to kind of be glued together what I said earlier. Men that see me as successful are instantly feminine and I'm instantly turned off. Like it is so gross to me. And I think that I'm pro women. I think if you want to work. If you don't. But if you can't tone it back and just be a girl, you will not have a successful relationship. It's like art. Like you know, like men are one way, women are another.
Yeah.
Like women, you know, talk in circles, men talk in straight lines. You know, it's like we're like a washer machine and they're just like, you know. And I think that, you know, one of my girlfriends, she's the exact opposite of me. Like she's a breadwinner for her household. I'm fucking mortified. I'm like, I am fucking mortified. I'm like he's like the Mr. Mom. I will never be that girl, can't be that girl. I'm a feminist in the sense of like I love women, I support women, but I can't. I tried to sign up to even slightly understand, slightly support, slightly, understand how she could just take it. Like the guy's like a Pilates princess, basically. And she's fucking grinding 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's not cool.
That's fucked up. It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the messaging that we get now as a society is like coming from like politics, right?
Yeah.
If you were in office, what were 3 things you would first do? Like your first executive orders, you're sitting in the Oval Office. What are 3 things that you think America would benefit from?
Oh my God. First of all, I'm sweating at that question. That's amazing. I would start honestly exposing the food right away. Like I buy all organic. I was on that before it was cool. Like I was going to Whole Foods, like, when I was in high school, and that's like forever ago because I'm old. But like before it was cool to eat clean, like really clean, I was eating really clean. I would expose that, boom, right away.
Yep.
I would also, I'm so happy for RFK, by the way.
Yeah.
So these are going to be 3 really interesting things because it's just the 3 things that popped into my head. My niece has type 1 diabetes and she got diagnosed at, 2.5, which is really scary. It's really dangerous. You think of diabetes as being like, oh, like who cares? Like I watch my sister and my brother-in-law struggle daily with this. Like their kid's organ doesn't work. And it's like for you and I, like we could eat an apple right now and be fine. And then her numbers are going crazy. Like it's impossible and it's a disaster. And I think that there's cures to all this. I think there's cures to cancer. I think there's cures to these things. I don't trust medicine in that way. And it hurts my heart so bad to watch my sister struggle, being a mom to, now a 4-year-old with this and trying to manage that. And I do think that there's probably more under wraps that the government knows that it's more, insulin's so expensive. Like it would really hurt the economy if my niece wasn't getting as much insulin. I mean, I saw my sister posted something the other day of like how many shots a kid gets in like a week. And it's like, I'm like, I can't even imagine getting pricked. Like I'm just mortified by it. So I'd expose that. And 3, I'd be like, everybody needs to do psychedelics. It's legal everywhere. It is legal everywhere. Sign me up. Sign me up. Sign everyone up because it's like there's such a stigma around, and I've never done like real drugs. Like I've never done coke or Molly or ecstasy. Like I've never done any of that. But my friends are in the psychoceutical space and I watched them microdose for like 2 years and I was like, I'm afraid. Like I feel like angry Jesus will come down and like yell at me if I do anything wrong in life, or like my mom would instantly call and scream at me. And I started microdosing, and I don't do it often, but like, that changed me. And I think it's a part of the human experience, and you don't know yourself until you get in yourself that way. Like if I have like last night at dinner, I had 2 glasses of wine. I was more fucked up than if I took a little microdose.
Yeah. You said it changed you. How, in what way?
So I was going through probably I don't want to say depression, but I was going through something extremely hard and horrible. And I was in Miami on the back of my friend's boat, and I took a little and I got in the water. And my girlfriend was like, yeah, just get in the water. Like when you take mushrooms, like you just want to be in nature. So I get in the water and I had my little arms up on the swim mat, and I was by myself and I was in the water and I was like, oh my God, I'm water. And this sounds like super hippie and weird, but I was like, oh my God, I'm water. And then I realized with that if I had a shot glass and I dropped a rock in it, like the shot glass would break, all the water would pour out of it. It would be like a disaster. If I dropped the same rock in, that, right, it would splash, but not so bad, right? And if I dropped that same rock where I was in the water, it would like do nothing. There would be no reaction. And I think in life, if we're water and we get hit with those rocks, we could determine like how much water we have in us. And I know that sounds so crazy and hippie, but it was such a big thing because what I was going through at the time, I just thought of as the rock. And I was like, we are, as humans, everything. Like we are water, we are air, we are, like our particles are the same. So it's like when bad things happen, we have to just limit the splash zone, like it's all mentality. So when bad things happen, I was the shot glass that would like, all the water would pour out and I would break and it would be a shit show. And then I'm like, no, I'm the Atlantic Ocean. Like I am Biscayne Bay. Like I am good, where there isn't as much ripple effect.
That's good. That's a good like takeaway for everything in life.
Yeah.
How do you then, because in the moment you're that shot glass, how do you become that bigger body of water and not let things impact you as much as they used to?
I really think that like microdose, and again, like you're not fucked up, like you're sober. I think that there's a huge misconception in microdosing is like, I thought that like trees talk to you and like weird shit. And, like I thought that like, you know, like Alice in Wonderland, like I was gonna, I don't know. But I think it's that like left an imprint on me that now that from that experience, and that's what I'm saying, like I would like stamp everything that everyone needs to try it. Right away, because it became like a part of me. It's almost like I got like injected with like a chip, like that's in me. I will say though, just knowing that analogy, and I kind of came up with that on my little mushroom trip, and I've told people it's helped them, you know. And I think that it's with just practice, knowing that everything is so temporary.
Yeah.
And everything's going to be okay. And if it isn't, it will be.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times we've all experienced where we're like, fuck, like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. This feels horrible, whether it's a heartbreak, it's a loss, it's anything. And it's like, I'm water. It's fine. Yeah. We're good.
You think those little things are the end of the world, and then like within a month you forget about it.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah. I was going to say, I totally forget about shit.
Yeah. You look back, you're just like, oh, I was tripping over that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Anything else that's new and exciting in your life? You're in Austin right now. Do you want to explain like why you are traveling for work? Like what that looks like when you come into town?
I love Austin. And I think it's super important, whatever industry you're in, is to, and any advice I would have to give to any young professional is pick a job that allows you to move. Like in my early 20s, I was going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, back roads.
Nice.
No one had cell phones. People didn't have bank accounts. Like, you don't understand. And then it's like, I'm from Long Island. I'm like, what in the hell is that? They're like possums and stuff. I'm like, what? I love when I travel because it gives me new energy. It gives me new ideas. You eat different things. You have different conversations. You see different fashion. You see different things. It inspires me. I'm here with some clients that I love. Like, my client has a huge Mardi Gras party tonight that we, you know, helped, you know, kind of facilitate in a lot of ways. And I'm just so proud of it and proud of her and the whole thing. So obviously spending time with my clients, filming them, but then spending time with them as friends has been huge. And I've become kind of part of the community here. Like, I know a lot of people in Austin now. Yeah. From coming here. Good or bad.
You leave a good impression. Yeah. Everybody knows when you're here.
Thanks. I know. Yesterday, I can't tell you how many people swiped up on my story of me being like, no one's safe when I come to the like
we know.
We know. I know.
That's good. So I have 3 questions for you that I ask every guest.
Cool.
So I'm excited to hear your take on it.
All right, let me make sure I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like sweating. Are you sweating?
A little bit.
Okay.
First question.
Cool.
How do you define success?
I define success like this. My dad told me that success looks like this. I was like, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you? When I was like 10. And he was like, because if you live like this, you're going to live like this. Yeah. So success to me is this. What I mean by that is like, we only have so much time here. We only have so much time. We never know. Nothing's guaranteed, right? I could get the worst phone call of my life like in 2 seconds. We just never know. So limiting, you know, the ups and the downs is success to me, because this brings time with my family. This brings my own time. This brings just like the level of peace. Because when you're like this, you lose the experience of life and how it's supposed to be lived. We're supposed to live like this. Yeah. Because if you're like here, like right now, I'm here. I'm working my ass off, so I'm not spending time with my family. So I'm here, right? So that's success to me.
That's good.
Yeah, I think being vulnerable too is success to me. I don't think enough people are vulnerable enough.
I agree. I think those lows, people know like that can crush you. If you get like hit with some bad news, or your business fails, or something that just goes wrong in life, that can set you apart for even years, because you just don't know how to handle it. But I think also the highs can really hurt you as well. Oh, yeah. Because people either don't know how to deal with success, or they get that taste and they're like, this is great, but they don't go to work the next day because they're like, I made it. And then that day turns into a month, turns into a year, and you're just like, oh, I'm right back to where I was because I stopped doing the thing that worked.
Yeah. You should always try to, I think success to me, it's just staying in balance of what works. Because the second you get more, you have less of something else. And there's been times where I was on the high of winning something, and then my friends are like, but you never call me back. You know, or, oh, I have all this money. I made all this money, but I spent no time with my nieces, and now she's one, you know, and I didn't even meet her yet. You know, it's like, or my health is struggling because I'm so focused on the wrong things, you know?
That's good. You might have multiple answers to this.
Oh,
So what is something you believe in that most people will disagree with?
I challenge everything. So probably literally everything. What do I believe in that most people don't? I think what I said earlier, feel sorry for yourself. That's like, look, that's a huge taboo. Like people are like, no, when something bad happens, like get back up, dust yourself off, power through. No, I believe you give yourself the 2 days, lock yourself in the house, cry it out, turn the TV on, light a candle, feel as sorry and bad for yourself as you can, and then get up and dust yourself off. Do not fucking plow through it. I've seen so many people in my life plow through bad things and then they break down.
So on top of that, if there's someone who is going through a tough time and they give themselves that lock yourself in the house, but it turns into a week, a month, how do you get that out of that rut and actually get back to what you need to do?
Self-respect. Like you have to just give yourself enough downtime to feel it and honestly get sick of yourself. Like if I lock myself in that, like recently something really bad happened and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? I was like crying. It was a mental case. And I would call my friends and I would say the same story like every hour, you know, and just be so sick of hearing myself talk about the bad thing that happened, feel so sick about feeling it so deeply, the bad thing that happened, that you just honestly, 48 hours, you get sick of yourself and you want to get up. So if you're in it for longer, I would say then that's when you really phone a friend to get you up and out and just moving.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Last question. Someone who is listening to this that they want to be successful, they don't know how to get there, what path to go down, what advice do you have for them?
I want to give something different than what I said. So to do something, what was the question again?
Someone that just wants to be successful, what advice do you have for them?
Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in what you're good at. Invest in what you want to be good at. And really look at, like I said earlier, pick 3 things that God gave you that you know makes you special and lean into that as hard as you can. If I wanted to know math, but I'm naturally not good at math and I don't have the patience for math, why am I going to do that?
Yeah.
I have the patience for people. I have the interest in people. I love to talk. I love to ruffle feathers. You know, why don't I not do that all day long? Which, you know, lean into what God gave you. Everybody is born with their own special qualities, and what you think is your worst quality might be your best quality. So lean into that.
Interesting. I think it's the best investment you can make. I mean, nothing's going to give you a better return than going all in on yourself.
Yeah. Full send.
Yep. I love it. Julia, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Love it.
Awesome.